I'll go ahead and say it right now, and I'm sure I'll say it a lot in the future, but the Georgia Bulldogs are going to sign the #1 ranked class in the country in 2024. Now, I know a lot of y'all still have questions about the 23 class, and that's okay because there's a lot going on right now, and I still think Georgia is going to pick up a number of commitments this summer, probably sooner than later, and I do think Georgia is going to sign an excellent 2023 class, probably top 5 in the country. But 2024, I think Georgia has a really good shot of signing the #1 class for a lot of reasons. Number one, I think they're going to sign a 5-star quarterback, and I think that's going to be Julian Sayin, a Southern California quarterback between San Diego and LA, with a dynamic arm. And I think he's a guy who could, possibly join Georgia's 2024 class sooner than later. And it wouldn't surprise me if he jumped on board later this summer. So I do think they're going to sign a 5-star quarterback in the next class. But in state, I know I made a video about how the state of Georgia is, not as talented and not as deep as previous years in the 23 class. But that 24 class, completely different. It is full of elite talent top to bottom. I think there's probably like 5 or 6 5-star prospects in Georgia alone in the 24 class. Now, this group they're going to be juniors in high school, so there's still a long way to go. And I know a lot of people don't really focus on kids that are too young, this and that, and feel like it's so far away. But I'm going to jump on this early because I do think Georgia is going to bring in arguably, possibly one of the best recruiting classes in the Kirby Smart era. And a lot of it has to do with in-state talent that is in the state, of course. And a lot of these guys are looking towards Georgia. We saw last week they got the class started off with a bang. 2 of the best players in the state of Georgia for the 24 class, both out of Colquitt County down in Moultrie, down in South Georgia. 4-star wide receiver, Nico Fan is their quarterback. So I kind of get those two names confused, but Nikar is an explosive, speedy wide receiver, and one of the best in the state. I think I have him ranked as the #2 wide receiver in the state. And I'm going to go over these rankings in a second. I have Nikar at number 8 right now. And then Landon Thomas, a 5-star tight end, who committed just a couple days after that. I have him ranked as number 5. So Georgia has the number 5 prospect in the state of Georgia on the commit list and number 8 on the commit list. And those are according to my rankings over on Dog Post. But I think the rest of the industry has these guys probably in the top 10 as well. I think Nikar might be a little out of that top 10, but Landon Thomas is a bona fide 5-star tight end. I think the consensus is that he's probably a top 6, top 5 player, top 10 player, I guess I should say, in the state of Georgia. But coming in at number 1 is Sammy Brown, in my opinion, an elite athlete, about 6'2", about 225, 230, I think now, runs track, crazy fast times. I mean, the dude is a creative player, right? He was outstanding as a freshman. Last year as a sophomore at Jefferson, was on his way to a record-breaking season until about 6 games in. He had a season-ending injury. But I think Georgia loves him at linebacker. He can hit, he can run, he can thump you, and he's a tremendous athlete. Nobody stopped him at running back last year. He was running wild on teams left and right. Just one of the top overall two-way players in the country. And I think his skill set makes him the #1 player in the state, in my opinion. Out of Jefferson High School, about 20 miles outside of Athens. Clemson is a team to keep an eye on. Oklahoma is a team to keep an eye on. He has a good relationship with Brent Venables and that staff that used to be at Clemson, now at Oklahoma. But Georgia's right there. But he's very open to a lot of different schools. Michigan is a team I think he's high on. Notre Dame is a team I think he's high on. I think he's interested in the teams out west. And so there's a lot of teams still in play. Of course, you can't rule out Alabama for any elite defender, but I think Georgia and Glenn Schumann will probably take just 2 true inside linebackers. So I think they'll take 3 in the 23 class. So maybe just 2 in this 24 class. Is he a top 2 guy on Glenn Schumann's board? I think he is right now. And if he is and Georgia pushes, I think Georgia has a great chance to land KJ Bolden, a 5-star athlete out of Buford High School. Another track star, explosiveness. Got plenty of size and length at 6'1", about 185 pounds. Now runs so well for 185. I think most people think he's going to be a safety at the next level, but I wouldn't mind if dude was on my team. I'd have him try to catch some passes as well. Another consensus 5-star, maybe a top 10 player in the country, according to other people. I think he's the #2 player in Georgia, and I think the Bulldogs are probably the team to beat right now for him. And I think he's a guy who could probably make a decision later this summer. That wouldn't surprise me at all, and I like where Georgia sits. Daniel Calhoun, four or five-star offensive linemen at a Centennial High School, depending on where you look. It's really early to be ranking a lot of these 2024 kids because they're going to keep going up and down these rankings as the industry continues to update them over and over again over the next year and a half. But he's the number one offensive lineman in the state in the 24 class, in my opinion, out of Roswell. The Georgia staff has offered him a long time ago. Matt Luke is the one who extended the offer, and Stacy Searles, I'm sure, is trying to get him on board as well. I think Georgia sits in a good spot for him. Massive offensive lineman who could probably play tackle or guard at the next level. I think he's more of a guard, but if he can prove that he can pass protect at the next level, maybe he gets a shot there. But big time player who moves really well at 330 plus pounds. He's got plenty of size. Number 3 prospect in the state. I like where Georgia sits with him. Zion Reagan's another track star. Size is not going to blow you away. He's more on the kind of shorter, smaller side, but he has game-changing speed out of Jones County, same high school that Todd Hartley went to. That's his area. So if Georgia pushes for a Jones County kid and they've got Todd Hartley helping out there, you have to really like Georgia's chances. So he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on. I have him as number 4 in the state of Georgia. And if Georgia pushes, they could be the team to beat there. Of course, number 5, Landon Thomas, already committed. Edric Houston, an edge defender out of Buford. Saw him in practice earlier in the spring, and he looks the part. He plays the part. I think he's a guy who has 5-star potential as well. The Buford Wolves are absolutely loaded, and this is one of their best players coming into this season. Only going to be a junior, but he's got the size, quickness, overall athleticism that you look for. He stands out on a team that's loaded, so you know this guy is going to be good. I expect him to have a monster junior season. And again, really early on for him, still accumulating some major offers, but Georgia has offered, and I think if they push, again, they could be tough to beat. Cam Davis, running back out of Albany, committed to Florida State. Watch this one. I think Georgia, if they continue to push for a flip, I think it's very possible. He's on Georgia's radar, and I'm not so sure he's going to be committed to Florida State the entire process. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he opened things up. If that were to happen, look for Georgia to get in the mix there. Big-time running back, all muscle, big-time baseball player as well. I mean, dude is just chiseled. He's got muscles everywhere. Certainly doesn't look like a 16-year-old kid. But if Georgia pushes for him, wants to flip him, I can see it happening. So I do think they could clean up in-state in 24. I think they could land 7 or 8 out of the top players in the state in my rankings. Of course, Nykar, number 8, already on the commit list. King Joseph Edwards, a kid another edge defender out of Buford, one of the best pass rushers in the state for the 24 class, dominated at the Under Armour camp in Atlanta back in February. Georgia offered later that day. Mike Bobo was there actually watching it in person. So he dominated that camp, has an offer from Georgia, and he's been to Athens multiple times this spring and this summer. I think Georgia is clearly the team to beat for him. He already has a great relationship with the staff. Number 10, Joseph Stone, big-time athlete out of Grayson High School. I think he'll play on the defensive side of the ball. Just a really, really good athlete. I think I'm higher on him than most of the industry. I think he's going to commit to LSU soon, so not a guy that I think Georgia really pushed for. Although I think he is Georgia caliber good, and honestly LSU, we know what they do with defensive backs, and they think they can land him and turn him into a fantastic defensive back, and I think they will probably do that. So those are just 10 of my top 10 in the state of Georgia for 2024. You can find those rankings on Dog Post, but they're going to continue to go out of state as well, but they don't really necessarily, again, they don't need to as much in the 24 class as they do in this current 2023 cycle, because the state is just loaded, and I think a lot of the best players in the state of Georgia, according to me, according to Dog Post and my rankings, I think a lot of the guys in the top 10 are trending Georgia's way. So we'll see how it happens. I mean, there's plenty of 2024 kids that Georgia's they haven't even offered yet. Again, because they're still kind of putting the 23 class together, and that's their focus, but they are in an excellent position for some of the very best in 24. So between the in-state haul that I think they're going to have in the 24 class, you combine that with 5-star quarterback Julian Sayin out of Southern California, who could be Georgia's next commitment in the 24 class. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And again, the other guys that they're going to get out of state, they continue to recruit the state of Florida well. And I mean, they can almost pick and choose who they want in this class because it is so deep and so talented, especially in the state. They're going to have a great class. I can already tell you that. just a year and a half out. I know Georgia is going to have an amazing 24 class, and at the end of the day, I think it will be number one. Now, of course, that's crazy early to say that, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's just how I feel at this time. So these guys are going to go up and down the rankings, of course, but if Georgia gets the guys they want, they're going to have an elite class in 24. Again, the current 2023 cycle, I think they'll probably end up with a top five recruiting class in the country. But 2024 is one I think Georgia fans are going to go bonkers over. And I think it could be one of Kirby Smart's best since he's been in Athens. What do you think? Drop a comment below. Go check out those rankings over on Dog Post. Thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I will see you over on Dog Post.